go ahead and begin. We'll start in mountain pose. We are live on Facebook. Well, I am. So let's go ahead and continue to prepare for your practice as you come to standing, find mountain pose. Standing nice and tall and proud. Just starting to make a connection. You might start with a connection with breath. Just some slow, steady breaths in and out. One thing you might imagine is when you breathe in, breath rising upward. And as you exhale, just imagine like an energy moving downward. Just an energy of moving downward, like down through your legs, into your feet, and into the ground, just to help you feel more grounded, connected. So continue to breathe, breath rising, filling up your lungs. You still want to keep this uplifting sensation, even as you exhale, by drawing navel inward towards your spine, engaging the abdominal lock, but also imagining an energy also moving down the body, down the legs, into your feet, into the ground. Continuing to tune in, prepare. Feel free to add any gentle movements. Movement of your head and neck, shoulders, arms and hands. Down your torso, through your hips, your thighs, knees, feet. And just a few moments in stillness. Slow, steady breaths. Perhaps you can feel your breath as it continues to move through you. But also listen to the sound of your breath. And as we prepare our bodies to move, take 3 more slow, steady breaths. And when you're ready, inhale and extend your arms overhead. Reach up, nice stretch. And exhale, we'll fold forward, so a good hinge from your hips. Bend your knees as much as you need to. And perhaps you can touch your toes. And inhale, slide your hands up to your shins or knees and extend your spine, creating a long, flat back. Then exhale, back down towards your toes. We'll hold here for a few moments, so you can feel that nice stretch down through the backs of your legs. Perhaps noticing a curvature in the spine, that rounded back feeling. An energy, gravity, drawing down through the crown of your head. And if it feels right, just a little movement of your head and neck, your shoulders, and a little sway of your upper body. Just tuning in, checking in. Let's do another spinal extension, a flat back. So you can inhale, just slide your hands up the legs and just rise up just halfway, half forward fold. Exhale, back down to forward fold. Then a weight shift into your heels, bend your knees, look forward. Extend your arms out to the side, then stand up, reaching into the air, another nice stretch. And exhale, you can bring your hands down to your heart or down by your side. Just pause here, find breath. Do that one more time, just flowing through that half salute. Inhale, extend your arms into the air. Another nice stretch. Exhale, leading with your heart. Fold forward, soft knees. Again, you might touch your toes, but you can always just fold partially. Maybe just touching your shins. Inhale, rise up halfway. The crown of your head leads you forward. Exhale, back down to your forward fold. Good. Again, your weight shift into your heels. Bend your knees. Inhale, reverse swan dive and come all the way back up. Reach a little higher as you're able. Exhale, hands to heart or down by your side. Hold here, returning to stillness. Keeping this good connection to breath, which allows you to be in stillness and guide you through your movement today. Let's continue. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up, lengthening through the sides of your body. Exhale, fold forward. Always okay to bend your knees a little or a lot as you make your way down. Inhale, rise up halfway, flat back like a table. Let's exhale, fold and bend, getting low enough so you can place your hands on your mat out in front of you. And just step both feet back into plank pose, your high push-up position. Hold for a moment. Breathe in. Exhale, bend knees a little, send your hips into the air, right into downward facing dog. Just a shortcut, just a mild transition, settling into this inverted posture, downward facing dog. Holding in stillness, or feel free to add movement here, still continuing to check in with your body and how it feels. Stretch your calves, your toes, bend your knees, move your hips. If you ever need to, you can always rest by bringing knees down to the ground. Let's continue from here. So take a nice full breath in, fill up your lungs. Exhale, draw navel to spine, bend your knees, walk, step, or hop both feet up to the top of the mat to your forward fold. Inhale, extending through spine. Exhale, fold. Again, your weight shift into your heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse swan dive, come all the way up, reaching into the air. This exhale, take chair pose or a chair-like position. Utkatasana. You can be in a high seat or a low seat. We're going to breathe in, nice extension out through the arms. Exhale, diving forward. Forward fold. Inhale, rising halfway or just a good extended spine. Exhale, fold and bend, hands to the floor, walk, step, or even hop both feet back, plank pose. As before, you can take your shortcut to down dog. Or with your exhale, bend your elbows, squeeze them in towards your ribs, and lower your way down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to a low cobra or upward facing dog, just choosing a back bend if you're going through that full sequence. Exhale onto your toes, lifting knees, then hips right up into the air like you're floating into downward facing dog. Stepping into place, pause for a moment. Then we'll continue. Go ahead and inhale, extend right leg up behind you, reaching long. And exhale, let's guide right foot up to the top of the mat, warrior one. Left heel will turn to the floor, reaching forward, hinging from hips, rising into the air. Exhale, hinge and fold and make your way back down to the floor. And step back into plank pose. Finish your sequence as you like. Bend elbows, come on down. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Take your time as you go through the sequence. When you're ready, inhale, extend left leg into the air. And exhale, left foot to the top of the mat. Once landed, turn right heel to the floor behind you. Feel well grounded. Then hinge from hips. That's it, rising up. And exhale, hinge and fold. Bring your hands back down to the floor in front. We'll step back into plank pose. Complete the series as you'd like. The shortcut to down dog or go through a vinyasa. Yeah, chaturanga, cobra, or sphinx, or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. In our practice today, we're going to build some triangles. This is one of our first triangles, downward facing dog, this kind of this pyramid shape. Go ahead and bring your knees to the floor, sit back briefly in hero pose. And then sit off to the side, swing the legs around to the front. Sit in the center of your mat. Go ahead and roll down onto your back. You can draw knees to chest here. Getting ready for bridge pose, but feel free to hug the knees in, add some movement here, a little massage for your back, even a little circular motion with the feet and ankles. Then eventually just set your feet onto the floor, knees bent. When you're ready, a nice full breath in, fill up your lungs. Exhale to engage your center body, then lift hips right up into the air. And there's our bridge. Now for more support, you can just use your hands to help lift or hold yourself up, or even slide a block underneath you if you'd like, even a big pillow. For even more support, even more lift in the upper body, you can bend your elbows at 90 degrees and just press down into the ground with the backs of the arms, and just see if that helps to stabilize the upper body, even lift and open it a bit more. Good. Deep breaths here. Feel that nice expansion through the lungs. That same sense of lightness in the body as you feel opened and free. 2 more breaths. After that second breath, just wiggle your feet forward a little bit. Extend your arms up into the air. That should make some space now so you can slowly and carefully roll back down to the ground. Nice soft landing. And then you can draw knees to chest. Add any other movement there if you'd like. Start rocking forward and back. With a good exhale, make your way up to seated so we can come to boat pose. There we go. So let's get into a little core work here. You can do this with bent knees or start to straighten your legs. Feet can be flexed or pointed toes there. Holding on to the legs to help extend spine, just to ensure that you have that length in torso. Breath still rising, filling up your lungs, so a deep breath in, good. Exhaling, connecting. Feel the abdominal muscles contract there. Okay, we're gonna move. Breathe in. And exhale, cross legs. If you can, roll forward onto your hands. You can hop or step back into plank pose. Hold for a moment. And go ahead and set your right knee onto the floor, directly underneath your hip. Swing the right foot off to the right side, just for a little kickstand effect. Then open up towards the left side of the room, going to the left side plank. It's a variation since we've got the knee on the floor. So nice reaching, feeling. Stretch here as it feels good. You might even reach this left arm overhead. Feel free to even lift your left foot off the floor, just an option. And extend, reach, open. It's a great hip opener. Certainly takes some balance and strength here as well. Okay, here we go. Breathe in. And your exhale is carefully return to the earth. Left knee, left hand. Bring your kickstand back in. Take a couple of breaths, cat and cow. Just lift head and heart, a little arch of the back right there. Exhale, round it out, chin to chest. Belly button pulls up towards spine. A few more like that. Just to feel the full undulation of the spine. Notice the rocking of the pelvis. Just take one more breath. After that exhale, just pause in this tabletop position. Just a quick return to plank pose. Tuck toes, lift knees, and extend, just for added strength. Let's do the other side. So just set the left knee onto the floor directly underneath the hip, make a kickstand, and then just open up sideways. Good reaching sensation. That's it. Reaching up into the air or even over your head towards the front of the room. Noticing that nice lengthening through the side of the body. Lifting the right foot if you want, just an option. Here we go, breathing in. And the exhale to return to the floor. Right hand, right knee, bring your kickstand back in. Maybe just 3 breaths here, cat and cow, just to finish up that sequence. Realigning the body, Keeping that good fluidity through the spine. Let's return to down dog. So lift the knees, plank, hips into the sky, down dog. Let's continue with our flow. And inhale to extend right leg into the air, reaching long. Exhale, right foot to the top of the mat, warrior one. Left heel turns to the floor, feel grounded, connected, rising up. And exhale, opening to warrior two, so you'll turn to your left side of the room, settling in, make any adjustments with your feet. Then side angle pose, so reaching forward to angle the upper half of the body, rotate your arms here. Right hand reaching down, left hand reaching into the air. Almost like that side plank pose. Just create it or have it feel like a nice stretch. Release and opening sensation, freeing up the body. And we'll keep it in flow. Breathe in. And our exhale to turn, bring the hands to the floor. Just step back into plank pose. Hold plank pose for a couple seconds. And then another return to down dog. Shortcut, bend knees, hips to sky. Then inhale, extend left leg into the air, reaching, good stretch there. Exhale, left foot comes to the top of the mat. Right heel turns to the floor, grounded, rising here. And our exhale, opening to the right side of the room. Here's our warrior two. Then side angle pose, reaching out. Rotate the arms, reach high, reach low. And you can decide how low this left hand is. You might even touch the floor or a block or come up much higher where your hand or even your arm is resting right on top of that left thigh. Let's take a breath in. And an exhale to turn. So you can bring hands down to the floor. Step back, plank pose. Either take that shortcut to down dog or feel free to finish that full Vinyasa, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Once here, take a full breath in. And exhale, walk, step or hop both feet up to the top of the mat. Stay on your feet. Inhale, extend through spine. And then your fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive, come to standing, reaching into the air. Exhale, hands to heart or down by your side. Take a moment, nice breath. All right, tree pose, a little balance. We'll start by shifting weight into the right foot here, root down into the floor, feel tall. Maybe an in-breath to help feel the spinal extension, breath rising to fill up your lungs. Exhale, core engagement. So you can start to lift the left foot and swing the knee out to the side there and foot on the inside of the standing leg. I'm going to call this a triangle here, that shape there. And whenever you're ready, inhale to extend your arms up into the sky, reaching up and get that lifting feeling. And the arms can be wide, you can even have elbows bent if you need to. Perhaps finding something out in front of you to help you focus, help you to balance. It can be straight ahead, it can be closer to the ground. Nice, let's keep arms extended. We'll swing that left knee forward, lifting the knee with the flexed foot, then plant the foot into the ground. Hands can come to your heart or down by your side. Feel grounded and connected, balanced on 2 feet, then start shifting weight into the left foot, root down, feel tall and light up top, or exhale to find center. Then we'll work into balance. Just floating the right foot up, swing the knee out to the side. It's a nice hip opener there. Here's our little triangle shape that we're creating with foot on the inner leg. And then an in-breath to extend your arms right up into the air. Lift, reach, and feel lifted. Using breath. Arms stay extended. We'll swing that right knee forward, lifting knee, flexed foot, planted into the ground, hands to heart, or down by your side. Let's continue our flow. Whenever you're ready to move, inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive forward. And inhale, lifting up halfway, extended spine, monkey pose. Exhale, fold and bend, hands to the floor. Walk, step, or hop both feet back, plank pose. Come down if you'd like, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to find your back bend, just a nice heart opening sensation, shoulders rolled back. Exhale, downward facing dog onto toes, lifting hips into the air. There's our triangle there. Inhale, extend right leg into the sky. Let's open this up. So go ahead and bend your knee. Bring your heel down towards backside, a little lift of the knee. Just to encourage more hip opening, just as that tree pose was a bit of a hip opener. Let's breathe in. And our exhale to unwind and step through. Right foot to the top of the mat. Left heel plants into the floor. Good connection. Find your center. Then rise when you're ready, hinging from hips. Warrior 1. Exhale, opening here. Warrior 2. Okay, side angle pose, just making this flow, reaching out, rotate the arms, reach high, reach low. Inhale to expand and open through front body. Exhale, turn, hands to the floor. Now we're going to slide the right foot back and up into the air right away, moving into down dog, returning to down dog. The right leg is still in the air. And now step the right foot to the top of the mat. We're going to high lunge. So left heel will stay lifted, all 10 toes pointing forward. You might need to shift the body weight back a bit to find your center. Rising here. Let's see if we can hold this. So good energy of reaching up, lunging low, squeezing to center. Just imagine perhaps you're holding onto a block between the thighs or knees. Let's get ready for triangle pose. What we'll do is rise to extend or straighten the legs a bit, pivot left heel to the floor, turning sideways, bring arms down to parallel. There's our triangle prep. So the legs are straight, and we'll reach out over that right leg. Rotate the arms. There we go. We do several things while in triangle pose. First is just noticing where you are right now. What I tend to do is I tend to push my pelvis forward so I can have this flat effect. I imagine like I'm flat up against a wall. When if I'm in that sensation, I know that I can't really reach my foot with my right hand. But if I wanted to, I would just push the hips back. Pushing the hips back just displaces the hips a little bit without compromising the pose, so you can start to slide down a little lower down the leg if you'd like. Let's add one more sensation. And let's lift the toes, the front foot, just your right foot lifting the toes. Yes, just your toes. So you're pressing the heel, maybe the balls of the foot into the floor. Just to really, fire up the leg. It helps to stabilize the hips. But that too might allow you to either hold the posture longer or even go a little deeper. All righty. We're going to bend this right knee, a good lunge, come back up through a warrior 2. Let's reverse the warrior, taking the right arm up into the air so we can kind of stretch and lengthen out through that right side. Make sure you're still lunging. Then a windmill so we can bring both hands down to the floor in front, step back into plank pose, hold there for a moment just to find realignment in the body, and then Chaturanga Dandasana or some variation of a flow to get you to downward facing dog. Yes, good. Nice back bend and downward facing dog. Back to our original triangle. And inhale, extend left leg into the air. We'll open this up, bending the knee. A little lift of the knees. You slightly twist open towards the left side of the room. Good opening through the hips. Take another breath in, and your exhale to unwind so you can step through. Left foot to the top of the mat, landing. Right heel turns to the floor. Warrior 1. Exhale, opening Warrior 2. Right away, side angle. Parshva Konasana, side angle pose. Reaching up, reaching down as you inhale to open the center. Exhale, turn, hands to the floor. Back to down dog. Slide or sweep the left foot back and up into the air. There's our prep to step through. Left foot to the top of the mat, high lunge. So all 10 toes are pointing forward. Find your centering. Long spine so you can hinge from hips. Rise, reach up, lunge low. Hold. Some energy in the legs here. Especially that energy of hugging inward like you're holding on to a beach ball between the thighs. We'll rise a bit to straighten the legs, just a bit. Pivot right heel to the floor. Turning sideways, arms come down to parallel. There's our prep for triangle pose, Trikonasana. Start to reach out and then rotate. Okay, now if you could see me, here's that imagining like I was against a wall. Be pretty flat, and for me, because of the way my hips move and really don't move, I don't go down too low. But if I stepped away from the wall a little bit, then push my hips back towards the wall just a tiny bit, then that does give me the space in the pelvis, so I can slide down the leg. And that next sensation, lifting the toes, that left foot, just your toes. Feel the heel, maybe the balls of the foot kind of press into the floor. Just a little action there. And notice what happens in the leg, all the way up the leg, helping to stabilize through the pelvis. A couple more breaths. And then we'll bend this left knee, returning to a lunge there or a side angle. Come up through a warrior two position and reverse your warrior so you can reopen the left side of the body. Reach high. We're still lunging low, so the left knee bends. Good extension through this left arm. And then we'll windmill so we can bring the hands down to the floor in front. Step back, plank pose. Pause and plank. Let's go to right side plank. So your right hand will stay on the floor and just opening up towards the left side of the room. Lots of ways to do this. First time we had the right knee onto the floor. You can do the same thing. Or you can have the legs straight, one stacked on top of the other. Good. Excuse me. Breathing in. And our exhale, turn back to plank. Let's take a pause here. Bring the knees to the floor. Sit back into child's pose. Just to take a little break off the hands. Relax the arms. Good, just 2 more breaths. Moving in slow motion, just come back up to hands and knees. Step back into plank. And then left side plank, so left hand stays on the floor as you open up sideways. Good. The legs can be straight or stagger the feet. One foot can be in front of the other. Strong legs to help strengthen the legs. Flex your feet. You might even lift that right foot or leg if you want. Just an option. So lots of options. Very strong. Breathing in. And our exhale to turn back to plank pose. Take a partial push up to down dog. Bring the knees to the floor. Sit back briefly in hero. Sit off to the side. Swing the legs around to the front. So staff pose. So straight legs here, flex feet, hands on the floor by your hips. Just push into the floor to help extend spine. Maybe even roll shoulders back, squeezing shoulder blades together. We're going to form a triangle with the legs here, so you can start taking the legs a little wider. They don't have to be too wide. Maybe hands behind you, or still by your hips, pressing into the floor to maintain that extended spine. We are going to take a fold here. So just leading with your heart and chin, coming forward, even just a little bit. Legs as straight as can be. If you need to put that bend in the knees, please do so. You can put a slight bend or a significant bend in the knees, especially if you want to fold a little deeper. Good. Hands can stay behind you or even in front of you, depending on how low you might take the front body, upper body. Take your time with this, breathing, noticing the sensations. Good. 3 more breaths. Then slowly rise back up till you're nice and tall. Maybe hands behind you. So you can just lean back so you can bend the knees and bring the soles of the feet together. Just pressing, still pressing into the mat with the hands, with the sensation of the torso lifting, which actually opens the hips as well. So you might find that the knees just kind of drop open a little bit more. A couple more breaths here. And still leaning back so you can bring knees together, lifting feet, boat pose. Long spine, deep breath, fill up the lungs. Exhale, core connection. Breathing in, here we go, we're going to move. Exhale, cross legs, hands in front, hop or step back, plank pose. Pause for just a second, and then just a shortcut to down dog. Once in down dog, inhale, extend right leg up into the air. We're going to high lunge, so right foot to the top of the mat, left heel stays lifted. Hinge from hips rising up. Once you're here, we're going to keep rising to straighten the legs a bit. Pivot left heel to the floor, turn sideways, ready for triangle. So let's go ahead and take triangle. Yeah, arms come down to the side. Reach out, tip it over. Same thing with the hips or your bum, just pushing back a little bit. So you can slide down a little deeper if you'd like. And then as you're able, lifting the front set of toes. Root into the earth with the heel, maybe the balls of the foot. Just help stabilize that leg. Okay, new posture. You might need to rise just a little bit so it unlocks the hips so you can actually turn your whole torso towards this front leg. And then maybe come to parallel to the floor with the upper body and reach back with the hands. If you like, if you're able, you can certainly fold a little deeper towards this front leg, but find to stay up here at parallel to the ground. Again, feeling the heel of the right foot, maybe the balls of the foot, root into the floor to help stabilize that front leg. We're into warrior one, so we need to bend the right knee a lot. Reach forward with the arms rising. It's just a warrior one right there. And then hinge and fold. Bring the hands to the floor. Step back into plank pose. Stay in that straight line for a moment. Then a shortcut to down dog. Let's do that same thing other side. Inhale, extend left leg into the air, straight and strong. Left foot to the top of the mat, high lunge. Right heel stays lifted, all 10 toes pointing forward, finding that centering. So you have that opening of the box feeling, lid of the box. That's it. Keep rising up to straighten the legs a little bit. Pivot, right heel to the floor, turning sideways. Arms come to parallel, prepped for triangle. Take your triangle pose. The initial movement into it. Maybe hips push back a little so you can keep sliding down the leg. Lifting the toes. Heel, extra press into the ground. Noticing how that might change the energy in the leg. If you're down pretty low, you might need to lift a little to unlock. So you can start turning the upper body or torso towards this left leg and then hinge out over it. Maybe at parallel. If you need to be higher than that, that's fine too. Or come to parallel, or maybe you can go a little lower. Toes lifted, heel driving into the earth. Then into a warrior one, so just bend the left knee, swing the arms forward, rising, just a warrior one. Hinge and fold, hands to the ground. Let's step back into plank pose. If you like, come down, Chaturanga Dandasana, or just a shortcut or any variation of a flow to get you to down dog. Good. A nice full breath in. Exhale, bend knees, walk, step, or hop, both feet up to the top of the mat. Stay on your feet. Inhale, extend through spine. Exhale, fold. Weight shift into the heels, bend your knees. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Come to standing, reaching into the air. Exhale, hands to heart or down by your side. Good job. Just find stillness once again. A few breaths. Check in with the body and get a sip of water if you need. Okay, our next transition, you just watch quickly. So we're getting into tree pose. From tree, we're going to take this into that high lunge, and then right into that same segment there. Now, let me just talk about that triangle pose for a second here. So imagine, let me do this first. Imagine I was against the wall, just whole body, my whole back body is touching the wall here. So this is kind of my first variation of triangle pose here. Okay, doing it sideways. So my pelvis is actually going that way. My belt buckle is going that way. So that locks my hips, so I don't go down very far. This is probably my stopping point. But if I send the belt buckle backward, okay, that way, then it unlocks the hips so I can slide right down with ease, okay, or just a little bit more space, okay. Just wanted to clarify that, okay. So whenever you're ready, mountain pose. We're going to go into tree, and tree. We'll step back into a lunge. So a shift of weight into the right foot, root down, feel tall here. Core connected, we'll float the left foot up, swing the knee out to the side, plug it in. Take the arms up into the air when you're ready. Reach, lift. So we got a small triangle with the left leg there. Keep the energy rising as we swing this left knee forward, lifting knee, flexed foot. Bend the right knee, the leg you're standing on, hinge forward so we can extend that left leg back, set the toes down. There's our high lunge, nice and tall. Then we shoot straight up, straightening the legs. Pivot left heel to the floor, prep for triangle, arms come down to parallel there. Triangle pose, maybe first version, at least for me, is I would consider this my first version. Push the belt buckle backward, slide a little deeper, lift toes, heel pressing into the floor, okay, yes, And we're turning into that pyramid pose. We're turning the torso so we're facing right over that right leg, reaching back with both hands. Come to parallel, go past parallel if you want or can, you don't have to, or even if you're above parallel, both are correct. Okay, toes are still lifted, heel driving into the floor. Warrior one, bend the right knee, reach forward, rise up. Warrior one, hinge and fold, hands to the floor, step back, plank pose, come down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Yes, upward facing dog or a mild back bend, exhale, downward facing dog, good job. Breathing in just to fill yourself up. Exhale, walk, step, or hop, both feet return to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, extend spine, fold here. Inhale, reversing swan dive, coming up, reaching into the air, exhale, hands to heart. Okay, let's do that same thing, other side. Starts with tree. Our weight shift into left foot, nice and tall, breath is rising, core connected for the balance, so we can peel the right foot up off the floor, swing it out, plug it in, forming our small triangle. Inhale, reach into the sky. Exhale, core connected. Holding for a few seconds so we can experience the balance. And then we'll swing that right knee forward, lifting knee, flexed foot. Bend the left knee a little, hinge forward, kick or extend right leg back so you can set the toes down behind you. So you'll be in that lunge, nice and tall, high lunge. Shoot straight up, straightening the legs, pivot right heel to the floor, arms to parallel, prepped for triangle. Take the triangle pose. Belt buckle still pushing back, sliding down a little deeper as you're able to on this side. Toes in front are lifting. Pyramid, so we're turning torso towards this extended front leg, above parallel, at parallel, or below it. And a warrior one, bend the left knee, reach out, rise up, hinge and fold, hands to the floor, step back, plank pose. Come on down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog, good. And downward facing dog. Okay, let's take another little rest. So child's pose, knees to the floor, sit back. For your child's pose, you can have the arms out in front for a few breaths, or for the entirety of this little piece. Or even bring the arms and hands behind you as if you're reaching for your feet, so your arms and shoulders can relax. Just hold here for a few breaths. We're going to do the exact same sequence. We are going to add on at the end. Very good. Take 3 more breaths in your child's pose. And just rising up to hero pose. Hold there for a few seconds if you're able. So at the end, we're going to end up in plank pose. We're going to open up to a side plank. Legs straight if you can, stacked or staggered, just like that. Maybe lifting leg if you're able, bending this knee, finding big toe, and extending leg. Okay. All right, downward facing dog, tuck your toes, hands out front here. Downward facing. There's that original triangle. With a good exhale, just float both feet back up to the top of the mat. Stay on your feet. Inhale, extending through spine, and fold. Inhale, reverse your swan dive, come to standing, reaching into the air, good. Exhale, hands to heart. Couple breaths, going right into our sequence, starts with tree pose. Shifting weight into right foot. core connected. Floating left foot up, swing it out. Foot plugs in, arms can shoot up into the air. Growing the branches of your tree, good energy there. We're just going to keep it moving. Swing left knee forward, lifting knee, flexed foot. Bend the right knee, hinge, kick. Land in the high lunge, nice and tall, shoot straight up, straighten the legs. Pivot and open for prep triangle and right into triangle. Good, right there, lifting the toes, energize that leg and hip. Pyramid, so we're turning to face out over that right leg. Lowering ourselves down as our arms reach back behind us, still in flow. So bend the right knee, warrior one. That's it. Hinge and fold, so you can bring hands to the floor in front, step back, plank pose, and then right side plank. So right hand stays on the floor, opening up towards the left side of the room. Yes, that right knee can come down to the floor if you need to or want to. Straight leg stacked or staggered. Left foot or leg can lift. If you want to add that last piece, you can bend the knee so you can actually grab the big toe if you can and extend the leg. There you go. Nice. And a release. Turn slowly back to plank, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. You can also do a partial push up to down dog or skip that and just move your body right into downward facing dog. Good job. Just want to complete that series right there. Good job. Jump, step, or walk. Both feet return to the top of the mat. Stay on your feet. Inhale, extend spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive, coming to a tall standing position, reaching to the air. Exhale, hands to heart. Immediately shifting weight into left foot. We're going right into tree. Feel tall, core connected. Right foot lifts. Swing it out. Form the small triangle. Just grow those branches. Reach, extend, feel the energy of the tree pose, and it flows. Swing right knee forward, lifting knee, flexed foot. Bend the left knee, hinge, extend right leg, set toes down, high lunge. Shoot straight up, straighten the legs, pivot and open, prep for triangle. Right into triangle pose. Finding your personal depth, lifting the toes in front to stabilize the hip, strong leg. Turning upper body, pyramid pose, kind of forming another triangle really with the legs. Warrior one, bend the left knee, swing the arms forward so you can hinge your way back up, warrior one. Exhale, fold so you can bring hands to the floor, step back into plank pose. Steady yourself there. And then left side plank, so left hand stays on the ground, opening up sideways. There you go. Strong straight legs. Lifting right leg if you want. Bend the knee so you can reach, maybe find the big toe with peace fingers and extend that leg. Release. Return to plank pose. Finish the sequence as you'd like. Perhaps chaturanga, cobra or up dog, downward facing dog. Find and feel the extended spine in your down dog. We're going to take a seat. You can kneel down to take a seat or hop forward, cross your legs and take a seat. Roll down onto your back. Hug knees in. And a little massage here. Good work. It's the movement, including the feet. Because I have a lot of work with the feet, with balancing, lifting those toes when you're in that triangle position. Let's take happy baby pose. Just to get into the inner thighs a little bit. Three more breaths. We'll do a couple versions of reclining cobbler's pose. The first one is the more classic version where you just bring the soles of the feet together, hold on to your feet with your hands so they're kind of up in the air still, yeah, And then gently send the heels directly down towards the pelvis. And at the same time, the knees or legs feel like they're gently pushing forward towards the front edge of your mat. That opens the hips. Then we'll take that more relaxed version where you just set the pressed feet into the floor or onto the floor. Experience how the body starts to relax a bit from that first version to the second version. We'll finish with a twist. Take your time. You might just bring the knees or legs together, give them another hug in towards your heart space. Spinal twist, we'll start by taking both knees over to the left side. Extend your right arm to the right side. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And then return to center. When you're ready, take the knees down to the other side. Two more breaths. Then a slow return to center, and guiding your way into Shavasana or any other restorative position. Something that feels settling for you, relaxing. Coming to the close of your moving practice. As you're settling in, just notice your breathing. Just soft, steady breaths. Continue to be aware of your breathing. And once again, notice your breath, this time taking 5 slow, steady breaths. And these breaths with the intention of generating movement within your body, a new source of energy flowing through you. And after your 5th breath, moving very slowly, roll onto either side of your body, just moving into a nurturing pose. And from here, guiding your way up to seated. Once you're here, lengthen spine, relax shoulders, arms, and hands. You bring hands to heart center, taking one more breath in and out. And as we come to the close of our practice together, we bow, saying, Namaste.